Hey everybody, welcome back to the Flannel Channel. I'm Philip, and I'm glad you're here. If you're anything like me, you absolutely love pinstriping and hand-painted lettering on old vehicles. I like it so much that I'm trying to learn how to do it. But sometimes you gotta take that stuff off. Maybe you're selling a truck, maybe you bought a truck and it's not your name on the door, it's not your DOT number, or you bought a race car and those aren't your sponsors. Maybe you got a different girlfriend and you need that name off the passenger door. I get it. But what we're gonna do here today is we're gonna do some experiments with some of these different chemicals and methods for getting lettering and pinstriping off the paint, trying to do the least amount of damage to the paint underneath as possible. I have my favorite methods. I get asked some of these questions all the time, so I decided let's just make a video about it. And I'm gonna do some experimenting on my old junker Ford shop truck so that you don't have to experiment on your nice semi-truck or boat or snowmobile or race car, whatever you got. So should be a fun episode. Let's get scientific with it. Here we go. So let me just give a quick caveat that my truck is 30 years old and the lettering and the pinstriping that's on it has been on for about 3 years or so. So there's gonna be some ultraviolet sun fading and things like that that happen underneath. My favorite way of getting stuff off of the surface of the factory clear coat is gonna be pressure washer, okay? It doesn't involve any chemicals at all, no abrasives, and it's just hot steam at point blank range. You gotta be careful because you might take off more than you bargained for, but it's a way that practically doesn't cost anything. You're not having to breathe in fumes or make a bunch of dust and things like that. So pressure washer is my absolute favorite way of doing it. Then we move on down the scale. Let's talk about what we're gonna try here today. We're gonna try odorless mineral spirits. We're gonna try acetone. We're gonna try lacquer thinner, paint thinner, turpentine, and an old trade secret, we have some oven cleaner. We're gonna neutralize that with some glass cleaner, okay? Because this stuff is really aggressive. It'll just keep eating away and eventually get into the clear coat and into the factory paint, and you gotta know when to stop that chemical process. I also have brake clean, okay? We're gonna try things like that. I'm not opposed to using some cutting compound and a wool pad and just getting in there with that. The last resort is always using something like a Scotch-Brite pad or getting after it with a sander and wet sanding. Don't want to have to do that if we don't have to, but you know what? In my particular situation, I'm going to do the experiment on my truck so that hopefully you don't have to do too much experimenting on yours to see what actually works. All right, so enough talk, and let's just set up some masking tape with a few different sections, and we're going to see what takes off this enamel paint. We're dealing with 4-year-old lettering enamel over the top of factory Ford clear coat and paint that's 30 years old. Here we go.
And now we're gonna try my favorite way with the pressure washer itself. Yeah.
All right, well, not to worry. I actually have the air exchanger fan going on in the shop here because I know I was running a 2-cycle engine for a few minutes and, you know, filling this place up with fumes. So don't worry about me. I'm fine. The air's getting blown out of here pretty quick. I'm happy that parts of this came off looking pretty good. That pressure washer definitely softened up some areas for us, but it maybe didn't work quite as good as I was hoping in all the spots. Obviously, every vehicle is going to react a little bit differently. It all depends on how well the surface was prepped before the paint was applied. There's the variables that we talked about earlier, where do you have clear coat over the top of it? How good is the clear coat underneath? You know, there's just a lot of things, and you have to try something first. You have to see what works, and you start with the least invasive and the most gentle that you possibly can, and then gradually work your way more and more aggressive until you find what's actually working. So anyway, I'm not that disappointed. And those of you that have ever been to a truck wash with some really, really strong pressure washers, more powerful than the one that I'm using, you can attest to the fact that pinstriping and lettering can go flying in the air, and hours and hundreds or thousands of dollars worth of work can just go flying in the air within seconds. And so that's why I like to try that first. I don't know all the specs on my pressure washer particularly, but it's just running off of a garden hose and little 2-cycle Honda engine. So, you know, if you have something that's putting out some serious gallons per minute and some serious PSI, you could probably do an even better job of getting your stuff taken off, better than my little pressure washer did, but I wanted to at least give it a try. Okay, let's move to the next step. Here's the part of the video where I say things about safety. You know what to do. All right, we're back to regular speed, and I want to show you up close. A lot of this stuff really didn't touch it. But that one did the most. And I could actually feel it. The paint was softening up. Okay? But like I was saying earlier, oven cleaner will continue to work and soften even if it gets a little bit dry. So you have to stop the process with something like glass cleaner, okay? So I might go after that a little bit more, see if we can get that all the way off with the oven cleaner. Let's try it a little bit more. All right, there we have it. So after a little bit more scrubbing, you can tell the oven cleaner was the obvious winner on all that. And it's interesting too that the white came off way easier and way faster than the black did. Yep. Interesting, huh? But that was glass cleaner that you saw me go over and neutralize it and stop the chemical process so it doesn't keep eating away. But yeah, that's our clear winner. All right, so next thing, now that we've done our chemical test, we're gonna move to this guy, and I wanna see how quickly that thing can take some of this off. And I'll say this too, it can sometimes make a difference what you're scrubbing at it with. Here I was using paper towels, and maybe a microfiber is gonna be just the ticket for you. You kinda have to experiment with some different things till you find what works. I'd be very wary of using Scotch-Brite because this stuff is really aggressive. There's a reason the body shops use this to prep the surface before they prime and paint plastics. You know, you come back later and you can see every swirl and scratch mark from Scotch-Brite, so be careful. Oh, and by the way, no, I was not a barista at a Starbucks. My sister-in-law is a manager there, and so free aprons, yeah, not a sponsor. What I'm using here today is just the stuff they had on sale at the parts store. Meguiar's Ultimate Compound. Yeah, no, nothing fancy. And just a wool pad that I already owned. Just gonna rake it out a little bit and let's see if we can get some of this taken up. Whoa, she's live, here we go. Here we go. Yep, that's coming along nicely. Certainly not done, but I can tell now that the combination of the oven cleaner and then going over that with the buffer is going to be exactly what it takes to get this whole truck done. So that's what I'm going to start with, oven cleaner, then move to the buffer. I'm going to do the whole truck. I don't need to show every single step for you, and some of this stuff, yeah, really don't care. I'll probably hit the pressure washer with that, but that's what's working, so carry on. I'm gonna pop in some earbuds, listen to a podcast, and keep going.
Now, if you're not sure what I meant earlier when I was mentioning shadowing, you can see it just a little bit right there in the reflection where the old letters were. The ultraviolet light has affected the paint over the last 3 or 4 years, but that's why I'm going to go over it with the buffer a little bit, and it'll also help take care of, you know, scratches and stuff like that that were there already. And we're certainly not going for perfection. I mean, look at this thing. Yeah, I'm going to leave those 2 stars there on the front. They're kind of cool, and they match what's on the topper too. So yeah, not bad. Oh yeah. I'm no body man, obviously, but you can still see the shadows of where it was, and yeah, I'm happy with that. I kind of dig it. If you didn't know what's there, you'd miss it, but yeah, not so bad. Ghost stripes now, right? Yeah. And you know, if you've done any buffing on a car before, you know to stay really gentle on your edges so you don't burn through. I've done that plenty of times, so watch your heat.
So there you go. I'm pretty happy with the results on these sections. I still have the back of the truck to do, but now I know the proper steps that are being effective. And you just kind of have to do some experimentation. You start gentle, work your way gradually a little bit more aggressive at a time, and you just stay patient with it. And if I can do this, you can do this. Don't be intimidated by it. Just try it. If you can take vinyl off, you can take enamel paint, pinstripe, lettering, things like that. You can take it off, and you just have to figure out what works and take your time with it. I learned some things, and I love having an old truck to just experiment with and try stuff on. The thing is far from perfect, but it's part of what I love about it. Inline 6 engine, 5-speed manual, 2-wheel drive. Yeah, this thing is perfect for what I need. But maybe I'll letter it again. Maybe I'll do some more pinstriping on it some other time. I don't know. But if I do, it'll be right here on the channel, and you guys will get a chance to see it. So thanks for watching to the end of this video. If you found it helpful, you know what to do to try and help push our content out. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for supporting the channel, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace and grease.
Yeah, we're out of gas. We're out of gas.